Public Enterprises Minister Lynne Brown is delivering her budget vote speech in the NCOP. Let's go live.
Owners of existing suppliers to enter into profit-sharing arrangements with workers, among other measures. Chairperson, we must confront and overcome the allegations and counter-allegations of corruption in state-owned companies and set about our transformative journey in a climate of the highest ethics and responsibility. Thank you. Thus contributing to the rating agencies reversing their recent decisions in the shortest possible time. As the Minister of Public Enterprises, it is my task to perform the function of shareholder representative over the 6 companies in the department's folder. As a shareholder, one doesn't attend meetings of companies, company boards or executives. One relies on the boards and executives for operational information. It is the responsibility of the shareholders' representative to formally appoint boards, following complex consultative processes, maintain policy oversight, sign off financial proposals above a particular value, often in conjunction with the Minister of Finance, as the PFMA requires, and to participate in annual general meetings. Boards are responsible for governance, including for fiduciary responsibility over procurement processes, and executives are responsible for the actual operations. In 2007, South Africa first experienced load shedding. Since then, there have been at least 7 investigations into alleged maladministration and corruption at the utility. Several were commissioned by Eskom's board, culminating in the publication of the State of Capture report 6 months ago. Eskom's reputation has been torn to shreds. The facts of its financial turnaround, that it has used only 200 billion rand of its government guarantee of 350 billion rand, that the build program is ahead of its revised schedule, that it is making do with a 2.2% tariff hike, and that memories of load shedding are fading, are totally lost to the state capture discourse. Since January, I've been calling for further investigation to clear the fog. I'm very pleased to hear that the President has agreed that he would have the Commission of Inquiry. About 2 months ago, I instructed my department to draw up the terms of reference for a broad scope inquiry into affairs at Eskom since 2008. The constitution of the inquiry has yet to be finalized. The DG has already met with the head of the SIU, and they are working on a structured process to filter issues which can be dealt with in the department and those that would require independent investigation. This process would culminate in a presidential proclamation to take the process forward. Beyond Eskom, state-owned companies will take heart from the ANC support for a judicial commission and the Hawks announcement of an investigation into state capture. Chairperson, the debts of large SOCs are linked to the sovereign credit ratings. The SOC reform project, which is chaired by the Deputy President, and the development of a shareholder policy led by my department will implement recommendations of the report of the Presidential Review Committee on SOEs. It is clear that state-owned companies' improvement in performance is a non-negotiable. Structural reforms must be accelerated to improve efficiency and strengthen government's role as a shareholder. The principles of the shareholder policy were approved by Cabinet in November 2016 for further consultation. The project plan anticipates that the legislative program for 2017-18 will see the introduction of the draft shareholder management bill. Cabinet has approved a new SOC remuneration and incentive standards for non-executive directors, executive directors, and prescribed officers. The guiding principles ensure that performance is transparently linked to incentives. Before focusing on company performance highlights, a brief word about the department. The Department of Public Enterprises realignment process is gaining a momentum. It is being repositioned to become more agile, responsive, and efficient in fulfilling its oversight and monitoring roles. The department spent 253.8 million rand of its 2016-17 budget allocation, 94.7% of the total budget. I commend the department for spending 99.4% of its goods and services budget. The underspending of 14.1 million rand is primarily due to vacant posts. The DG has presented a plan to expedite filling these posts. The department has been allocated a budget of 266.7 million rand in 2017-18, 277.2 million in 18-19, and 296.5 million in 2019-20. And now a quick run through the companies. Eskom 2 years ago was on the brink of financial collapse, and load shedding was the norm. Today we have generation reserves of 3,000 megawatts, and Eskom's managed to keep plant energy availability over 77.34%. It's up from 60% in 2014. A total of 153 megawatts of renewable IPPs went into commercial operation in December 2016, which will bring total contribution of renewable IPPs to the national grid to 4,180 megawatts. Government, led by the Department of Energy, is finalizing the IRP, which will outline the final energy mix for the country. Part of that process will affirm decisions about economic life of all our power stations. Because Eskom is a strategic role player in the economy, government continues to support the completion of its build program. The government framework agreement expired in March 2017, and it was extended to 2023 to enable Eskom to tap capital markets to fund the program. The program is delivering and it is ahead of the revised build program deadlines. Ingwa is in full operation, and Medupi Units 5 and 6 are commercialized. Kusile Unit 1 has been in commercial operation, and Medupi Unit 4 is in synchronization operation, which means it only produces about 100 megawatts of the normal 800 megawatts that it should produce. When in Ngula, pump storage reached commercial operation, an additional 1,332 megawatts of peaking power was added to the national grid. Eskom is expected to record a profit for 2016-17 financial year and will continue its cross-border trade program to boost declining local demand. Engagements with municipalities, Salga and Kokta, to manage municipal debts continue. Solutions must be found to assist municipality without income-generating bases that resort to using funds allocated to the payment of electricity for daily operations. Eskom's asset base increased to 691.7 billion rand in the third quarter of 2016, up from 644.4 billion in the previous year, mainly due to the addition of Ngula. Government aims to reach universal electricity access by 2025. In 2016-2017, over 200,000 households were connected to the grid. The current negative economic growth, both locally and internationally, has necessitated that Transnet revise the targets of the CAPEX investment program. The market demand strategy responds to South Africa's industrialization requirements. Instead of being implemented over 7 years, it will be implemented over 10 years with the intention to advance South Africa's developmental objectives, including enterprise development, localization, and job creation. The strategy to revitalize branch lines to support its road to rail strategy is gaining traction, with Transnet board approving 3 branch line transactions: Belmont to Douglas, Ceres, Prince Alfred Hamlet and Worsley, Allisdale, Grahamstown, and Port Alfred. Branch lines are the train lines and train stations in small rural communities that a couple of years have been closed down because it was not part of the core business. The company delivered 37 passenger coaches engineered and manufactured at its Centre of Excellence in Pretoria and Cape Town to Botswana Railways. The successful delivery confirms the strides the Transnet division has taken as it aggressively advances towards becoming South Africa's leading manufacturer of rolling stock. In addition, the development of the Trans-Africa locomotive, the first diesel locomotive designed and built in Africa for African conditions, aligns perfectly with Transnet's Africa strategy and the company's vision to become the leading provider of logistics services in sub-Saharan Africa. The company should announce a profit for the 2016-17 financial year. The global airline industry is experiencing radical economic turbulence, and South African Express has not been unaffected. South Africa Express improved its financial performance in the 15-16 financial year from a 69.4 million rand net loss in the previous year to a profit of 16.9 million. This was mainly due to cost savings of 330 million, partially offset by the decrease in revenue of 203 million year on year. The revenue decrease is attributable to the 7% decrease in passenger numbers from 1.4 million to 1.3 million. Although this decline is partly due to a reduction in capacity as a consequence of austerity measures, the airline should explore other initiatives that will ensure sustainable revenue growth. The continued decline in revenue does not ensure that the airline will be able to meet its operating costs. In 2015-16, the entity remained solvent with equity of 131 million rand. However, the risk of insolvency remains high should South Africa Express be unable to generate profits from 2016-17. There is a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I expect the task team appointed by National Treasury to submit proposals on the end state for government's airline assets, namely South African Airways, Mango, and South African Express, within the next couple of weeks. Alexco is a diamond mining company operating primarily in Alexander Bay and the Greater Namaqualand region. Its operations include both marine and land mining. During the current financial year, the department completed a desktop study on the Richtersveld diamond deposit. This study confirmed it is possible to extend the life of the Alexco pooling and sharing joint venture beyond its current estimated 10-year lifespan. Alexco experienced operational challenges during the 2016-17 financial year. It did not meet its carat production targets set for the year under review. However, its diamond revenue increased from 386.5 million in 2015-16 to 758 million in 2016-2017. Additional economic opportunities for the community of Richtersveld and its environs are expected as mining operations expand in the next 2 to 3 years. With regard to Denel, the Portfolio Committee at its meeting of the 24th of May resolved to hold a meeting at the earliest opportunity with the Board of Denel and officials of National Treasury to resolve issues pertaining to Denel Asia. Pursuant to the resignation of the former Group Chief Executive and Chief Financial Officer in 2015, the Denel Board has finalized its recruitment for both positions and have made recommendations to me. Denel continues to grow its revenue. Its acquisition of Land Systems South Africa will enhance its capability to design and manufacture multi-purpose armored vehicles that will enable it to compete in lucrative international markets. Furthermore, the development of the small African regional aircraft, the SARA, is proceeding according to plan. Denel's aerostructures delivery on the Airbus A400M contract continues with on-time and on-specification deliveries. Chairperson, before wrapping up, SAFCOL. SAFCOL manages and develops commercial forests. Its activities include timber harvesting and processing. During the 15-16 financial year, the department conducted a review of SAFCOL's financial position. The company has a sound balance sheet that can support its capital expenditure over the medium term. Changes to the company's executive committee have had a negative impact, and the board has been reminded by the ministry to speed up the recruitment of a chief executive officer. Chairperson, before wrapping up, a quick word about state-owned companies' corporate social investment programs. Between all 6 state-owned companies in my portfolio, they enrolled 8,931 trainees in 2016 in various scarce job and critical skills programs. So it's in engineering, scientists, doctors, maths, but in 1 year, up to December 2016, they enrolled 8,931 trainees. A total of 10,655 trainees in various disciplines graduated over the past year. 607 of them have been employed, and that's the role that state-owned companies can play. It can play an important role in building up the artisanal, its engineering, its high-end skill for the economy. And I'm very pleased that last year, again, December 2016, 1,779 learners have received bursaries for the current financial year. And those bursaries were also received in the high-end areas of skill or the scarce skill areas like engineering, scientists, and other stuff. In conclusion, Chairperson, I'd like to thank the Honourable former Deputy Minister, Bulelani Magwanishe, for his excellent support over the years, and I warmly welcome the new Deputy Minister, Ben Martins, who is no stranger to this department, since he's been a Deputy Minister for Public Enterprises before. I also want to thank the board and executives of the state-owned companies, my department, senior management. I'd like to thank the chair and the select committee, where we've always been able to have cordial engagements. And I hereby table budget vote number 9 of the Department of Public Enterprises. I thank you.
Thank you.